So, linear regression, we've been drawing trend lines, but everybody's trend line was a little bit different, right? Our slopes were a little bit different. What's going on? Our slopes were a little bit different. Our y-intercepts could be a little bit different because we were all just drawing a line, right? Linear regression gives you a bunch of data. You plug it into your calculator, so all of us will get the same line. All right? So, just a quick refresher, correlation, and we're used to that correlation coefficient. So these two kind of go together. When we talk about correlation coefficient, what would I assume to be a really strong correlation coefficient? One or negative one. Because the closer you get to 1 or negative 1, that means that our points are closer to a straight line, right? So that's the relationship. Can be positive, negative, or no correlation, and then the strength of the correlation uses that correlation coefficient. Our trend line is a line that's drawn on a scatter plot, usually used to make predictions. Interpolation. When we talked about this, what was the key word that we just used for interpolation to remember? Enter, inside the data. What about extrapolation? Outside. Okay, and then the line of best fit kind of goes along with trend line. And this is just like that table that I drew you on the board, right? That correlation coefficient. So as we work through this, I'm going to go through the steps with you. So this is just kind of a cheat sheet for you for later if you get stuck when you're working on your own and you can't remember exactly what is the next step for me to use. Here's all your steps for the calculator. But we're going to work together on a few of these. So first thing you need to do, on your table, we've got age in years and height in inches. Before I get any sort of data, because it's going to end up going as a line, so you need to define what's x and what's y. What would be my x or my independent variable in this scenario? Age. What would be my y? Height, because your height depends on how old you are, right? So we've defined our variables, and then we need to get our calculator out to do a regression. So go ahead and open up to your home screen of your calculator, and you're going to open a new document. It's going to ask you if you want to save any old data. You're going to say no. And usually we're used to either adding a calculator or adding a graph, but now we're going to add a list and spreadsheet because we have a table of values. So add a list and spreadsheet. And then once you get there, you need to move your cursor up into section A. So where we have section A, we're going to relabel it X because those are our X values. All right, what about column B? Y. Not double Y, just Y. There we go. All right, so that's all you need for the top. You're not going to touch anything up there anymore. So go down into the first cell, row 1, column A, and you're going to start entering the data that's on your table. So my age in years, 2, 3, 4, 4. So I'm copying just from the top of your notes. 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 5, 6. You should have 10 items. Everybody go with that? All right. Once you have 10 items, you need to go all the way back up to row 1 to finish your table. You've entered in your X values. Now it's time for Y. So at age 2, the height was 30, so start with that, 30. and go down your list in order. Yeah, it's not the same person. Okay, so make sure, y'all, make sure that your data lines up. If one column is longer than the other, then you're going to get an error message. So once you're here, just go back up to row 1 in column C so that all your data lines up, and you're going to do linear regression. So you've got all your data in the table. You're going to push menu. Everybody there? Statistics. You want stat calculations. And you have a whole bunch of different options. But we're trying to make a line of best fit. So I'm going straight for something that's linear. So I have 2 options. Which one of those looks more relatable to us? 3. Mx plus b. We have not talked anything about a plus bx. Those, right? So mx plus b is what you want. So option 3. And everybody should have a table. Option 3. Everybody should have a table that pops up that looks like this. Yes? Okay. You're going to drop down for your first. You want to input x because that's where you put your x values. Then y. And those are the only 2 things that you need to change. Everything else is good. So you can just move your cursor. Okay. And it will give you a bunch of information. Right here. Okay. Yeah. Okay, hold on. So what is M? Slope. What is B? Y-intercept. Go ahead and round it to the nearest 100 and write it down in your notes. It thought that you were still typing. All right. So my equation, if I round it to the nearest 100, y equals, what was your M? 3. If I'm rounding it to the nearest 100, it rounded up.
Wait, once you round it up?
Okay. Okay, so x. What's my y-intercept?
23.22.
2. Good. Now, if you look back at your calculator, you have M and B, but you have more information below that. You have R squared and you have R. Really, really, really important. R squared is the residual. We don't need it. You don't need residual until algebra 2 or statistics. What is important to us is R. R is our correlation coefficient. So if I look at our correlation coefficient being 0.95, if R is 0.95, what does that tell me about this? It's a strong positive correlation. right? All right, y'all want to try another one together? Okay, so open that calculator back up and we're going to type in that second table. But in order for us to do that, do not try to delete everything. Just go home, open a brand new document. You do not want to save, and you can start fresh. That way you know that you're not going to get any kind of like syntax errors. So, number 4, what's the first thing I do? Remind me.
Put in all the values.
X and Y. I need to title A is X, B is Y. Okay. What are my X values? The metacarpal bone length or the height? Bone length. So I start entering in the data. You should have 9 values on each column. Enter your X and your Y. There should be 9 on each. Okay, from here, go back up to row 1 in column C. Make sure that you're not trying to type something in. Like if I go and my cursor starts like this, y'all see the difference? Then it's not going to let me do anything. I need to make sure that I'm just kind of hovering over it. The cursor's not going. So, menu. Let's see if you guys got a memory on you. What's next? 4, statistics, stat calculation, 3. Okay, my X list, X, my Y list, Y. Does anything else change? No. Push OK. So my default, if I am not told what to round to, I'm going to round to the nearest 100. So when I look at my slope, round that to the nearest 100 for me. 1.70. Okay. So y equals 1.70x plus 94.43. Okay. Now let's check our correlation coefficient. What's my correlation coefficient? 0.86. What does that tell me about my data?
Pretty strong correlation.
Pretty strong correlation. Is it as strong as the previous? No, but it's still strong. Good. Okay, so we've gone through 2 together. I want you guys to do 3 and 4 on your own.